Hey guys, today's October 2nd, 2025. So I'm once again going to talk about October 7th. I talked about it in my last video, but I found some new information that I wanted to share with you guys. So go back and watch my original video if you didn't see it, because I'm not going to cover everything. I'm just going to talk about the points that I made from my previous video for a review added onto this new information. But I cover more in my original video and show more decodes that I'm going to show here. But anyways, so this October 6th, October 7th will be a rare October full moon, the first supermoon of 2025. It will also be the latest date that the harvest moon has appeared since 1987. So the October full moon is always the hunter's full moon. But sometimes it is the harvest full moon, because the harvest full moon is the full moon that's closest to the September equinox. And so it's usually in September, but this year it's in October. So it's both the harvest and hunter's full moon. So what happened back in 1987, the last time that the harvest moon appeared so late in the year? Well, that month of October, we had Black Monday. October 19th, 1987, the Dow Jones lost 22%, almost 23% in a single day. So this was the largest percentage drop in stock market history. So a larger percentage drop has more impact on the economy than a larger point drop comparison to now. Like the 3,000 point drop that we had in 2020 was the largest point drop in history. Back then, in this Black Monday, I think it was 500 points, but it was a much larger percentage drop. So it was a much bigger impact in the stock market comparison, right? But who was president back in 1987? Reagan. And he had the slogan, "Let's make America great again." And now we have, this year, "Make America Great Again." Almost the same exact slogan. So, and I talked about in my last video how I thought there could be a blackout. I was showing the decodes for 7 days, possibly. And after that 7-day period, I was looking at a possible stock market crash. So, yeah, don't take stock market advice from me. I'm just trying to do decodes, I'm not always right, but I have been sometimes. And this date is really compelling, October 7th. So is October 15th. So anyways, I'm going to show you some more information that I didn't show from the last video. Again, this is the hunter's moon. And October plenilune, which means the time of the full moon, is named after the hunting season. It was in this month that the most indigenous people of the northern hemisphere regions began to hunt deer and other animals that came out to feed in the harvested fields. And, my last video, I talked about the connections with Obama in the movie Leave the World Behind. And that movie was all about a cyber attack and a blackout. So this is the hunter's moon, October 6th and October 7th, that I'm looking for a possible blackout. And what do we see right on the advertisement? The front covering of the movie, Leave the World Behind. We see a huge buck, so that can definitely be related to the coming hunter's moon on October 6th, October 7th. And this will be 22 months, as I said in my previous video, from the day that Leave the World Behind released. And again, blackout equals 22. And on this day, there's 85 days remaining, and blackout equals 85, right? And as I said before, it will be 64 years, 64 days after Obama was born. Barack Hussein Obama equals 64, just like his name. And 88 is the 64th composite. Chicago lies along the 88th meridian. So the guy that wrote the the book Leave the World Behind, Rumaan Alam, I found it interesting that he was born exactly 5 days after the U.S. Department of Energy was founded. And this coming Hunter's Moon will be exactly the 5th year anniversary of his book being published, Leave the World Behind. Another piece of new information that I didn't share in my last video is this American League Central tiebreaker game between the Chicago Cubs and the Minnesota Twins. So they were tied at 88 wins apiece, and they played at the end of the season the 163rd game. There's only supposed to be 162, but they had to play an extra game for the tiebreaker. They both had 88 wins. And this game, they called it the Blackout Game. And the White Sox sent out a request that all fans attending the game wear black as a part of a show of solidarity and attempt to intimidate the Twins. This blackout creates one of the most amazing visuals the stadium has ever produced. And you can see in the stands most people wearing all black. And the score was 1-0. And the first run, Jim Thome hit the home run in the 7th inning. So it wasn't 1-0 until the 7th inning, like 10-7. Again, these teams both had 88 wins apiece. They were playing in Chicago, the city that lies along the 88th Meridian West. And October 7th will be 888 weeks since this game was played. And they called it the Blackout Game. Fans wearing all black. And a quick review of some of the other points from my other video. The Department of Energy will be the 2023rd prime, old since being founded. And it will be 64 days after its founding date of August 4th, which is also Barack Obama's birthday, right? And as I said, 88 equals the 64th prime. So we got the 88 and 223 connection to the Department of Energy and October 7th. And these both these numbers match electromagnetic pulse, 223 and 88. And we just had Charles James Kirk being assassinated, right? And Turning Point equals 88, his company. And his full name equals 64 and 107, like October 7th, and 64 being related to 88 with the composite number, right? And he was from Chicago, the city that lies along the 88th meridian. And he was born 457 months after Pope Leo, who was from Chicago, and 457 is the 88th prime number. And I showed in my last video that how Charlie Kirk was connected to these 3 deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, which Blackout Tuesday stemmed from this, right? And he had the same birthday as George Floyd, born in the same year as Breonna Taylor. His company, Turning Point, was founded on Breonna Taylor's birthday, and he got married on Ahmaud Arbery's birthday. And Blackout Tuesday equals 62, and October 7th will be the 62nd triangular number since Blackout Tuesday occurred. And October 7th has numerology of 62. And more 8 connections because solar flare also equals 107, and it will be 8,008 days after the largest solar flare ever recorded. So the largest solar flare that we know about is the Carrington event. And I talked about in my other video that's 60,666 days since that Carrington event took place. But other 8 connections, October 7th is exactly 8 months and 8 days after the year of the snake began. And I showed all these gematria connections. Blackout equaling 22, nationwide blackout 107, United States Blackout Tuesday, 85, like 85 days remaining in the year. Nationwide power outage, 107. United States Blackout, 62. Blackout Tuesday, 62. Again, October 7th is a blackout. October 7th is a Tuesday, and it equals 62. Also, hacker equals 107. The movie Lights Out. It will be 9 years and 11 weeks since that movie released. And its premiere, will be 112 months, and Lights Out equals 112 in reverse. And we also have the 322 connection to the movie Hackers. So that's all I have for this video. Based on the decodes, obviously, Chicago would be the main focus with the blackout. Electromagnetic pulse equals 88 and 223, connecting to the Department of Energy, connecting to where Chicago lives, connecting to Charlie Kirk, turning point, his name, October 7th. The deer in Obama's movie, Leave the World Behind. This is the Hunter's Moon. We got that Blackout Game. 2 teams playing each other with 88 wins in Chicago. You know, this is 888 weeks after that game. The Gematria connecting to blackouts and various words, even nationwide blackout. So we're going to have to see what exactly happens. It's only 4 days away. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Take care.